I wasn't looking for answers that day. I was only trying to organize the things you had left behind when I found an old envelope tucked inside a book you loved. My name was written on the front, but it had never been given to me. I stared at it for several minutes before opening it because something inside me already knew those pages were about to tell me everything I had refused to see while you were still standing beside me. The first line didn't accuse me. It didn't blame me or make me feel guilty. Instead, it simply said that you hoped I would never need to read those words because that would mean I had finally noticed your heart before it became too late. My hands started shaking because, in that single sentence, I realized I had already failed the person who believed in me more than anyone else ever had. As I kept reading, I discovered things you had never said out loud. You wrote about pretending to smile because you didn't want to become another problem in my already busy life. You admitted there were nights when you cried beside your phone, hoping I would notice something was wrong without forcing you to explain it once again. Those words broke me because I remembered every one of those nights. One paragraph stayed in my mind longer than all the others. You wrote that you weren't afraid of losing me. You were afraid that one day I would finally realize how much you loved me, only after you had already learned how to live without me. I stopped reading for several minutes because those words felt less like a prediction and more like the future I was living. You never asked me to become someone different. The letter never mentioned expensive gifts, impossible promises, or dramatic sacrifices. You only wanted to feel chosen on ordinary days. You wanted me to notice the little changes before they became silent goodbyes. I finally understood that love rarely disappears because of one terrible mistake. It slowly fades when ordinary moments stop making someone feel important. There was one sentence I wish I could erase from my memory. You wrote that if I was reading this letter someday, it probably meant your heart had already stopped waiting for mine. I folded the page and closed my eyes because I suddenly understood why your goodbye had felt so calm. You had already said everything you needed to say. I had simply never listened. For the first time, I wasn't searching for excuses. I wasn't trying to defend my choices or explain my behavior. Every sentence made it impossible to blame stress, work, or bad timing. The truth was painfully simple. You kept reaching for me while I kept believing there would always be another tomorrow to become the man you deserved. I read that letter over and over again until I could almost recite every word from memory. Each time I read it, I noticed another clue that I had ignored while we were together. It felt as though you had spent months leaving pieces of your heart for me to discover. Yet I only found them after the story had already ended. Sometimes I wonder whether you hoped I would eventually find it, or whether you prayed I never would. Maybe you wanted me to change before those pages became necessary. Maybe you believed love should never have to explain itself inside a goodbye letter. I don't know the answer, and that's another question I'll carry for the rest of my life. That letter changed the way I remember our entire relationship. Moments I once considered ordinary suddenly became heartbreaking. Every quiet smile, every gentle reminder, and every disappointed glance finally made sense. It wasn't that you loved me less than I believed. It was that you loved me far more deeply than I ever realized, while I still had the chance to show you the same. If I could speak to you one more time, I wouldn't ask whether you still love me. I would ask why you carried so much pain alone while trying so hard to protect mine. You deserved someone who noticed your tears before they became words written on paper. I'm sorry I became someone who only understood your heart after reading it instead of hearing it. That unopened letter became the greatest lesson of my life. It taught me that the people we love often reveal their hearts long before they walk away. We simply become too distracted to notice. I wish I had paid attention while your eyes were still telling me the same story those pages eventually did. So this is my confession. I thought the greatest mistake I ever made was losing you. I was wrong. My greatest mistake was allowing your heart to write a letter it should never have needed to write. By the time I finally understood every word, you had already found the strength to continue your journey without me. That envelope will forever remind me that love should never be understood too late.